to increasing workforce participation, particularly amongst women. And in order to do that, we need a strong and resilient economy that works for families. That is why the Morrison government has been and is committed to affordable and accessible childcare before, during and after the COVID pandemic. The Morrison government's system of childcare funding is targeted and means-tested. This is designed to help those who need it the most, meaning Australian families can work the hours they want and need. Mr Deputy Speaker, in 2018 the government introduced a suite of reforms to the childcare sector that has slashed out-of-pocket expenses. That's what the taxpayer needs and wants. This was one of the most significant reforms to the early education and care system in 40 years, and I'm proud to be a part of a government that actually delivers on this important sector. ABS CPI data shows that costs to families remain 3.2% lower than under the previous childcare package. I'm proud that under the government's childcare measures, female workforce participation has increased to 58.7%, from 58.7% in September 2013 to 61.5% in January 2020 before COVID hit. This was critical for families and particularly for female economic empowerment. Mr Deputy Speaker, the government supports a targeted approach to childcare. This means those families who earn the least receive the highest level of subsidy. On top of this, we provide additional support for those who are doing it particularly tough. A 95% subsidy is available for families who are transitioning to work. 120% subsidy is already available for families who are experiencing financial hardship. In most cases, this means free childcare. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, in the 2020-21 budget, the government will pay a record $9.2 billion in childcare subsidy payments, a record amount of funding to an incredibly important sector. And this will grow to $10.7 billion in coming years. Now, around 1 million Australian families who are balancing work and parental responsibilities are benefiting from this package. This is a government that cares. This was on the back of a $1.9 billion early childhood education and care relief package to support the viability of the sector during the COVID pandemic. This was so important to 1 million Australian families who received fee-free childcare, and it meant that the sector could keep open, with 99% of current services staying open during a period when families wanted confidence. They wanted confidence that they'd have the same carers that they had throughout the pandemic. And I know as a mother that it's so important that your child is going to have the certainty and continuity of childcare workers. So it was a great outcome that was delivered by the Morrison government. But Mr Deputy Speaker, Labor's assertions this afternoon have been misleading. We can't trust Labor to tell the truth on fees, and therefore we can't trust Labor on childcare and early childhood policy. It's high time that we had a look at the facts. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, let's take the example of a single parent who wants to work more hours. Say they work part-time and earn $30,000 a year. They would receive a subsidy under our plan of 85% of the cost of childcare. With average fees for centre-based daycare at $10.40 an hour, that single parent would pay just $1.56 per hour for care. The taxpayer pays the rest. If they want to take on more shifts and double their income to $60,000 per year, they would still pay $1.56 per hour and the taxpayer would still pay the rest. Mr Deputy Speaker, when my children were small, there wasn't this opportunity for the women who were trying to enter into the workforce, and I think that there are many women who are grateful for that support. Mr Deputy Speaker, let's take another example, that of someone who's earning $110,000 a year as a family. Say they earned a combined income of $110,000, they would receive a 71.5% subsidy to the cost of care. With average fees, again, around $10.40 an hour, that family would pay $2.96 per hour for care and the taxpayer pays the rest. For a family with a combined income of $110,000, where one parent works full-time and the other works 3 days a week with 2 children in childcare for those 3 days, they would receive $27,000 in childcare subsidies over 12 months. This is a significant amount of subsidy to help women get back into the workforce. If the second parent took on a 5th day of work to earn another $10,000 a year, they would receive $41,000.
The member's time has concluded.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker.
The discussion has concluded and I call the clerk. Government Business Order of the Day number 4, Aged Care Legislation Amendment, Improved Home